We go live there every day trading the markets, covering world news, and talking through setups in real time. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next session.
Still doom scrolling? Brain rot taking over? You'll focus tomorrow, right? But what if tomorrow never comes? What if it all started with one small choice? The world won't wait for you. Opportunity is moving right now. One decision is all it takes to shift your momentum. Fuel your mind and watch possibilities open up. Small wins stack up, focus sharpens, growth begins. Everything changes the moment you focus. Lock in and make the switch today. Bring your ambition into focus. Trade with Switch Markets.
Are you still trading everything manually? More traders are moving to automation, running strategies 24/7, removing emotion, and staying consistent. Now with Switch Markets, you've got the tools to build and run your own automated trading systems, so your strategy delivers even when you're asleep.
Meet Switch Markets, a broker for ambitious people who want to trade the financial markets.
You mean that I can trade things like Forex, stocks, even gold with you?
Yes, you can even trade the coffee bean market with us.
What about digital currencies? Can I trade them too?
Absolutely. Maybe now's your time to get in.
Oh, and are you regulated?
Yes, we are.
And how easy is it to deposit and withdraw? Will you charge me any fees?
It's easy. Deposit and withdraw instantly. Nice and simple. And unlike that guy, we won't grab any fees from you.
Do you have a low spread trading account?
We certainly do. Pick from our zero commission or our low spreads account. It's up to you.
Okay then, what makes you so different from every other broker out there?
Our 5-star rated real human customer support and our perks package worth thousands. No other broker can beat it.
So, who did you say you were again?
Switch to success. Trade with Switch Markets.
Getting started in trading shouldn't be complicated. You can open an account, get set up, and be ready to go pretty quickly. Now, if you've been thinking about it, take a look. Click the link in the description below. You can even start with a free demo account.
In trading, like climbing, the hardest step is to pause, hold, and trust your position. Ambition pulls you forward. Focus keeps you steady. Together, they take you higher. Bring your ambition into focus. Switch Markets.
Already trading with another broker? Fair enough. But if you haven't looked around lately, you might be missing out. Now, Switch Markets is picking up awards, offering tools most brokers don't, and their support actually shows up. It might be time for you to switch to Switch Markets. Click the link in the description below to get started today.
Discipline starts before the first punch is thrown. Focus sharpens in silence. Repetition builds control. Every movement prepares you for the fight ahead. Trading isn't luck. It's preparation. It's grit. Your fight is won long before the bell even rings. Champions trade with Switch Markets. It's time to bring your ambition into focus.
Are you still with the same broker? Now, there are better options out there. There's more tools, better support, and a platform built for traders. It's time that you demand more from your broker. Take a look at Switch Markets. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Trading Room. I'm Shane Vernier, and this is the U.S. Mid-Session Brief. Today, we're going to talk about the SpaceX IPO. We're going to recap U.S. PPI, and we're also going to recap the latest interest rate decision out of the ECB, and it was the first rate hike we've seen from a global central banking entity since the Iran war began. I believe it's going to be the first of many, and I think that's going to spread like wildfire all around the banking community, all around the globe, all around the world. The global financial system has entered a new phase. We've gone from potentially easing after the rate hikes after COVID. We've gone through an easing cycle, and now we're going to go through a tightening cycle, and I have to tell you that these cycles and this monetary policy is coming hot, it's coming heavy, it's coming fast. So I want to welcome everybody back to the Trading Room. Kelvin, good to see you out there in YouTube land. Definitely one of those days that I'm excited to be a trader. So much going on. Andrew Garwal, good to see you in the How to Trade community in Tuku. Always a pleasure, guys. If you have any questions at all, be sure to ask. And remember, if you need any of your trading needs satisfied, head on over to Switch Markets. They'll get you up and running, 50 to match 50. And then also you can get up and running in 5 minutes or less, which a lot of people really like. That reverse KYC program, you can really begin trading very, very quickly. Ralph H., good to see you. Ralph, welcome. TM Tucker, good to see you. T, welcome. If you guys have, like I said, if there's anything on your mind, let me know. I got a great question. I had a one-on-one with a trader earlier today, and the basic question was, I'm really struggling. My trades are being rejected at the market from my MT5 platform. They're constantly being rejected. What could be going on? Margins. So if you're trading out there and you have any questions about margins with Switch Markets, be sure to reach out to the live support team right there on the website. And if you have any questions about margins in general, you can access my expertise, I guess, in the margins department over at howtotrade.com. Go ahead, free account, send me a private message. I'll be more than happy to answer. All right, everybody, we've got an absolutely huge news cycle here that's really based around SpaceX IPO. Everybody's already talking about SpaceX. We're going to break it down for you. ECB hikes interest rates. PPI comes in hot. And then also we've got I'm not going to talk about it much, but the Iran war looks like it's entered a new phase. A lot of rhetoric coming out of the White House. A lot of rhetoric about taking Cargo Island. We're back to seemingly square one. I'm not going to cover it much today, though. We're going to just have to wait and see what happens. Big thing to remember out of Iran is that the war has resumed. Kinetic exchanges are ongoing. United States has pledged to hit Iran hard, hit them hard last night, supposed to hit them hard again this evening. So we're going to see exactly what develops here in the next 24 to 48 hours. Be that as it may, WTI crude sort of in consolidation right around that 90 level, 90 and a half. So the oil markets have not exploded on this news because they are used to it. And that's exactly what I want to stress. The markets are efficient. And I can trade instantly. You can trade instantly. And there's so many of us out there. There's institutions. There's retail. There's so much money out there flying around that we price things and we get used to things quickly. Very, very quickly. So a lot going on in the markets today. I can't wait to get started. So let's see, Kelvin, what's happening tomorrow with SpaceX? A lot. We're going to be live on the air tomorrow at about 6:30 a.m. my time. We're going to be an hour before the U.S. Open. We're going to look at SpaceX. I'm not sure when they're going to start trading it. Nobody really is. I don't believe it's going to go during the pre-market, but it may. And if we start seeing pre-market offerings, that's going to be interesting. Tonight, they're going to start pricing it. The institutions will. We believe we're looking at $135 per share. I'm going to break all that down for you today before we sign off. So, all right, guys. Here we go. Let's start off with the trade update. We've got the US 30 Iran downs, a US Apache helicopter. US 30 support is in play. This was an interesting trade. This is one that came right down to our support zone, took us out essentially down to 50,000, traded beneath 50,000, and now we've got a pretty good bounce on our hands. We're trading right back down around that 51 or 50,100 level. Now, what I really want to stress is this was a pretty good trade. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. Our next level, we were looking for about 250 pips on this trade, but I got to tell you, I mean, this thing produced about 200 pips very, very quickly. 30-minute chart, you see our initial hard strike of that zone. We were going long right up in this zone. 50,125 is where I was going from. And you can see right there, that high was about 50,328. So you're looking at about a 200 pip gain right there in about 30 minutes or so. That's one of those trades that I'm sorry, but you can't afford to lose those. I mean, I understand we have next levels up and we're looking for profit targets. The problem is you can't estimate how high a market's going to go or how low it's going to fall. Calculating the next level or how big a move, it's called measuring market follow through. Very, very difficult. By far, one of the most difficult things we do. With any technical approach, you can get in there, you can break down exactly what your entry looks like. You know where your stop out has to be. The problem is really determining how far these markets are going to go in your favor. There's a lot of sophisticated ways to do it. Feel free to research any of them you like. A lot of people play symmetry, meaning that their stop loss would have moved right up beneath that 30-minute bar. A lot of people play on ATRs and average directional ranges, ADRs and ATRs, average true range, average directional range. All those things are all great ideas. A lot of folks use RSI to manage their positions. There is no right answer. You've got to find something that works for you. I've just decided over my trading career, I'm going to be very conservative with my profit targets. I know very, very not sure. You can't say sure, but on a trade like that, a 1-to-1 risk versus reward, pretty solid. Didn't quite get there, but you went 200 pips in your favor. So what I highly recommend is if you're in fact going to wait for that profit target to be hit and you see the big bullish move in your favor, you've got to at least move it to break even. You cannot take a loss after it goes 200 pips in your favor. That was when I first broke into the market. That was the first thing I was taught with the 7V Bar trading group with Shane. I'm going to tell you the golden rule of trading: never make a winner a loser. And I can tell you, if I would have let that go 200 pips in my favor and then it comes back against me, sweeps me out down here somewhere, say, well, you did it once, you do it again, you're gone. It's that simple. So be aware of your trade management and what you're comfortable with. Now, if we're trading 1-minute charts, looking to scalp a few pips here and there, don't be moving your stop losses around. Let those play out. That's different. But when we're talking about a position trade off a daily level and we're looking for 250 pips, the market goes 200 in our favor, I either take the money or I move my stop to break even. You cannot take a loss in that situation. You can't do it. Golden rule of trading right there, guys. Don't be greedy. There's a lot more trades. Now, the beauty of this market's coming back into play. Our level right around 5,092, 5,093, or excuse me, 50,000. Man, the Dow's over 50,000. I never thought I'd see the day, right? 50,095. So this area right here is robust downside support. Will that work for us as far as an intraday, sort of an intraday scalp goes? Absolutely. U.S. session, we've got really just beautiful downside developed here throughout the New York session. This would be an issue where I would be looking potentially to trade this thing. So let's go to trade, buy, order, limit. I don't want a market order. I want a limit order. And let's go ahead and put this buy order right down on our hot zone, our daily hot zone. Let's put the buy down, see what happens. So if we do get that elected during the U.S. or during our live stream here, I'm more than happy to manage it in real time for you. Initially, the first thing I would look at, I'd say, okay, stop loss probably right beneath that swing low, somewhere right down in there. But is that too big of a trade for us? It's kind of big. I'm looking for immediate positive price action off of my entry. If I get it, we're going to be looking to take our profits pretty quick. Midday, all right, midday, mid-session. I don't want to get committed to a position here. So we're looking for a bump. That's what I would call buying a bump, looking to play a bump right there. We'll see if it comes our way. I'm a little bit later in the session. As far as the rest of our fundamentals go, let's go and unpack that, and then we're going to get into that IPO, that SpaceX IPO that is going to be listed on the NASDAQ. We're going to talk all about it. Week 24, let's see, Tina Xing. Sorry, I read the wrong message there. Tina Xing, hi Tina, how are you? Thanks for the messages. I didn't know much about Italy. I'm sure thankful to get any knowledge I can from folks that have been there. That's for sure. I've always wanted to go. Maybe next year will be the Italy year. That's for sure. Up in Tuscany, that sounds like a dream to me. So maybe next year's the year. We'll see. All right, week 24 today was all about the ECB interest rate decision and US PPI. Let's go ahead and start with the ECB. The ECB rate on deposit facility. That's a fancy way of saying just the prime rate went up about 0.25%, 0.25 basis points, or excuse me, 25 basis points, 0.25%. That's definitely something that you look at, 0.25%. And then the refinancing operations rate also went up by the same amount. So 2.25 and 2.4. 2.25 is the big one. So the ECB is tightening interest rates. And why? Because of the Iran war shock. ECB hikes rates for first time since 2023 as the Iran war ramps up energy costs. And that's essentially what we're going to see around the globe. ECB hikes its key interest rate to 2.25% as the Iran war continues to blow inflation off a target. ECB hikes inflation forecast and downgrades the growth outlook. So what is the key statement out of this? Right here. I highlighted this in our daily trade idea. The war in the Middle East is generating inflation pressures, and the decision to raise rates is robust across a range of scenarios, mapping out how the shock might evolve and affect medium-term outlook for the euro area. Essentially, it's getting real hard. It's getting real hard to afford the energy and not really start to address inflation as being the number one market driver facing not only the Eurozone economy, but the euro and all related currencies. There's no question about it. No question about it. So in response to this magnificent move, a news item from Christine Lagarde and the ECB, decided to put out a trade idea based on the 920 EMA crossover 4-hour chart. So right here, this is sort of where this trade stands. I'm going to break down the management parameters in just a second, but here is the actual trade idea. Euro CAD in play. PPI comes in hot. Iran war on the front burner. That was today's market update and trade idea. What I really like about this trade is it gives us a chance to get directional with the market. And even though we did have a big news item that sort of built this trade, I still like it. I really still like it. So we're looking for about 50 pips here, 53 pips. I'm looking for a retest of sort of that 162 area. Let's go ahead and take a look at the chart and exactly what's happening. I love the 4-hour chart on the Forex. I'm a believer. 920 EMA crossover. The 9 crosses over the 20. At price, essentially, we get our coded buy signal that sets up. So we're going long. Went long from right up here, and you can see how this trade's faring. It's not faring very well at this juncture. Right there, 136, 160, 137. And now we're trading back down to 160, 117. So we're down about 20 pips on this trade. Not great. Doesn't make me happy. I don't like seeing big retracements like that, but is it to be expected after a news bar? I would say, yeah. I'm not necessarily bailing out on my long side view of this. I mean, the bottom line is this. The ECB raised interest rates. The euro is going to be a little bit stronger, especially over something like the CAD, who hasn't raised interest rates. BOC yesterday held rates static, and now you've got the ECB coming in and raising interest rates. So the inflation pressure is the same pretty much on everybody. Some regions are worse than others, okay. But the bottom line is that the inflation caused by the energy problems coming out of the Middle East are definitely driving these currencies. No question about it. They're driving policy facing these currencies. They're going to be a huge deal for the rest of the trading year. So this right here, essentially this was the buy. Your long trade could look different than this. I mean, you don't have to have your stop loss down here. I'm looking for a retest somewhere about 160, 195, maybe 162 even. I don't want to split hairs with risk versus reward. If you stop yourself out beneath this price bar, beneath our signal bar, our hot, then you're probably going to be, you might get left out of this move. Realistically, you might get left out. We're coming down right now, 160, 117. As it stands, somewhere down around 160, 104. If I was going to do it that tight, I would put it beneath the 161 handle, potentially something like that. I think that's a pretty smart area to put your stop loss. But for me, if you're serious about taking a trade, something like that, stop loss needs to be beneath this swing low, maybe even beneath that liquidity sweep. And the beauty of it is it just isn't that big of a stop loss. However, if you're going to do something like that, you got to make sure you get paid for your time and get at least a 1-to-1. So your 1-to-1 is going to put you somewhere right around 162.10, something like that. I don't hate the trade. It's just it's calmed down a lot. That right there would not scare me, just because it's one of those deals where if you're in this situation, essentially you're taking a swing trade. 4-hour chart, Euro CAD, swing trade. More than likely you're going to be in this one a few days unless the market sweeps us out. And if it sweeps us out, it sweeps us out. That's the way it is. Still, though, I like the odds. I like the chance here to really rotate higher and test that 162 zone. You can see it's not really rarefied air. We were trading back there on the 4th of June and really coming off of these highs back in April. We could definitely be in that situation again. So we're going to go ahead and put that trade down and see exactly how it fares. Really a true swing trade. That's what I would say. Jason Maxon. Hey, Shane. Jason, hey, how you doing? I'm doing very well here. Hey, Shane. Ralph, good to see you. Why don't you like the 1-hour chart on the Forex? Too much noise. Well, yeah, I mean, essentially, listen, if you're finding success with the 1-hour chart, I'm not against it. I'm really not against it. Is it a bit noisier? Yeah, I mean, you go through periods like this where you get a lot of compression, especially on something like the 920. But you can see right here, that 1 hour, beautiful. I think you could play a 1 hour if you trade it during the right periods of time. Like right now, I would not be trading a 1 hour chart on the Forex just because it's after that London U.S. overlap and we're getting into the late U.S. session and business is definitely dying down. I'd be surprised if we get any moves at all out of this Euro CAD until the London session, until the next London session. However, I could be wrong. If we get a big late day move out of U.S. oil, that's going to help the Canadian dollar, and it's helped it over the last, 2 hours? Something like that. So I don't necessarily not like the 1 hour chart. If you want to trade the 1 hour, feel free. Feel free. I don't want to scare anybody off of anything. Let's take a look at the 1 hour on the Euro USD 920 EMA crossover. Fantastic trade, right? Maybe 1 hour's the ticket. Maybe 1 hour's the ticket. You see right there. Fantastic trade. Stop loss could have been up here. If it was right in here too tight, you're going to run into trouble there. But there's your move. So pretty good trade there. The 1 hour. What I would recommend is with your whatever approach you may be using, get in there and do a little bit of back testing, see what's going on, and see if you got an opportunity maybe to succeed using the 1 hour chart. I have no problem with it at all. I would never scare anybody off of their favorite time frame. For me, I like the 4 hour chart because it gives me plenty of time to think, and it sets me up in really a situation where I can easily make some of these swing trades and not have to manage them too much. If you're on a 1 hour chart, you're probably going to have to do a little bit more management. But a 4 hour chart, it's relatively straightforward. If I was working a complete full-time job and trading at the same time, Forex pairs, now we're just talking Forex, but Forex pairs, then I would be leaning heavily on the 4 hour chart. However, your 1 hour, just all you got to do is make sure there's participation. This stuff right in here really bothers me. Take a look at when it would have happened. Late U.S. session. So it would have been noon my time, 2 p.m., and you see what happens right in here. You get a dummy signal. So as long as you filter it out according to time and then maybe fire it back up for the Japanese section, or maybe just trade it exclusively during that London U.S. overlap, you could do that as well. High liquidity, volatility, that's what we're looking for. That's what we want. And if we can get that out of our Forex pair, then I don't care if we go down to a 1 hour chart. The problem with the Forex, from my experience, and it's not necessarily a problem, but one of the challenges of trading Forex is when these currency pairs dry up, and when these currencies dry up, there's not a lot of action. And when there's no action, then we get bored and we do stupid stuff and start taking trades that just aren't there. So I've always said that, probably 90% of the people in the market probably lose money because they wind up on the wrong side of trends and they try to fight trends. Well, the other 10% at least that lose a lot of money in the markets or end up trading when they shouldn't be trading small time frames when they shouldn't be trading, and they just get chopped up. So that's exactly what I would say are the two biggest challenges facing traders. So what does that leave us? It leaves us trying to trade things that are liquid, that show volatility, and that have action and participation, and trading those when they are active. So this action right here, Ralph, if you're looking at a 1 hour chart, these are all in mountain time. So that would be like 8 a.m., 8:30, this Eastern, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, pretty good stuff. Pretty good move right there. No question about it. So Euro giving back some puff after that rate hike. I'm not too worried about it, though, to be real honest with you. I think that pendulum just sort of swings this way. Still looking at our trade. I'd love to get this one in the US 30. Gold. I do want to talk about gold for a minute. Big move. We talked a lot about this. The big move underneath 44 and a quarter. That 38%, once that gave way, we said we're not just going a little bit lower, we're going a lot of it lower. And that's no kidding. We're coming right down here. We're at the 50% level of this giant macro trend, which really began back in November of 2024 and really sort of extended those highs to January this year. Take a look at where we're at. We're at 50% of this epic range. Epic range. So when I look at this, I go, man, are we going lower or are we going higher? It feels to me, and we may be late to the party here, but it feels to me like the gold market and the metals market, I haven't even talked about silver. I should pull a silver chart. The gold market is settling into life with higher interest rates here in the United States. No question about it. No question about it. Big war correction. A lot of money went into treasuries. A lot of money was going for that risk-free rate, T-bills and such. Those yields went up. Investors jumped into that, dove out of gold, jumped into the bonds. And then what do you have? Real tight couple of months during the war. And then you got the big sell-off. This right in here, this 38%, that moving average yesterday was right up around 41.85. We traded it beautifully, sold it, actually got the late day sell, actually called sort of the top of this thing late in the day. It was fantastic. Now that moving average, this move's been big enough to move a monthly 13-period EMA. Now that tells us a couple of things. It tells us, number one, the pain is very real for gold. So right now, we're right down around that 4,000 level. We're talking 4,078. What is the next level up for debate here? Well, on an intraday basis, my trading strategy would be the same as yesterday. And we had this set up sort of for CPI, and it happened later. It was, the level was right up here, actually. This top was where our moving average was yesterday. It was right up in that zone. Well, now it's come down, it was right there. It's come down very nicely, very, very nicely. So our 4178 would definitely be a sell on the board for me for the next 36 hours, 24 hours of market time. Absolutely. I would love to sell that moving average as a scalp. Fantastic level. This 50% level, I'm not a fan. I don't trade 50%. That's why typically you get a big move and then you got to come back. Now this area is setting up, is being significant support. I mean, it really is. Do I want to trade it now? Intraday, if I had to make a gold trade later today, they say, Shane, you got 3 hours left in the session. You got to make a gold trade. I'd say, okay, if it moves down to my support zone somewhere in here, 4,066, coincides with my 30-minute lower Bollinger Band, which is somewhere right around 4,066, that potentially would be my kill zone. I don't like it because I don't like 50%. Still, though, we got to respect it. It's there. If we want it, it's there. If we get a chance down there maybe later in the session, wouldn't be a bad trade at all. All right, let's talk a little bit about the SpaceX IPO here. I definitely want to dive into this, and then we'll circle back around, close with PPI. You can see that SpaceX going public on Friday, June 12th. That's tomorrow. I'm going to have it live for you during the U.S. pre-market. The key details of the IPO, I'll have all of this for you ready to go for tomorrow's session as well. The SPCX is going to be our ticker symbol. The projected offer price is going to be $135 per share. The valuation is going to be $1.75 trillion to $1.77 trillion. The capital raised, we're looking at about $75 billion. It's going to be potentially one of the largest IPOs of all time. Now, the retail orders and demand for this have been unprecedented. Now, there's all sorts of stuff there on your AI. You know, AI gives you too much knowledge sometimes, but this is what we're looking at here. We're looking at a lot of stuff, a lot of things that are going to come into play. And essentially, there's a couple of things that we need to understand. Demand's going to drive everything, number one. So when we see an IPO hit the market, what is it going to be worth? It's going to be worth whatever people pay for it. Now, what does that mean exactly? It means how many people want to buy SpaceX. How many people in this world want to buy SpaceX, be it institutions, be it retail traders? As long as there's buyers there, then you're going to see the price rise. That's price discovery. I think we all pretty much basically understand that. When the bidders show up, the price goes up. The real question you have to ask yourself is this. Okay, I know, Shane, everybody wants it. That means it's going to be worth more, right? There's only X amount of shares hitting the float. That makes sense. Who's going to be selling tomorrow? Who's going to be selling tomorrow? Now, typically the insiders aren't going to be selling. That's the Elon Musks of the world, you know, the SpaceX secretary that's going to walk away a millionaire tomorrow, things like that. Those folks, they're going to have restrictions on what they can sell and what they do. Musk can't sell anything. If he sells anything, it's going to send a bad message to the market. He may do it anyways. Point being is this: are those institutions that are going to get into this market this evening? They're going to make the market before this actually goes live to the public. The institutional investors, are they going to sell a little bit tomorrow? Are they going to sell some of their float to the public if demand's that hot? Now, the idea is if price goes that high, yeah, they will. They'll dump some of their float, and they won't hold these as long-term investments. Be ready. Be aware. Be ready for anything on this. And we're going to talk about this more tomorrow. We're going to have plenty of time to unpack it, but this is really some serious stuff. Midday stories. SpaceX IPO said to draw over $70 billion in retail orders. So if you've been dealing with your broker trying to buy SpaceX, you'll notice that they either have minimums or you have an allocation. Meaning, okay, you can put your order in the market, but we have X amount and you may or may not be filled. Okay, if we have enough, then we'll fill you. That's going to be the first thing. The second thing is going to be you have an allocation. I was approached by several of my brokers. They said, yeah, you can buy some SpaceX, but seriously, we're looking at $2,000 to $5,000 minimums. That's all we're dealing with. That's the minimum investment that they would let a trader get in that's from the retail space. So these are all big things that are going to factor into the price. Remember, if it's scarce and there's nothing left on the float and everybody's fighting and clawing for a share of SpaceX, the price could potentially go through the roof. Now, we're betting that it's going to start at 135. That's what the analysts say. We don't know what it's going to open at. But within the first 20 minutes of it hitting the market, maybe the first 10 minutes, could we see 270? Could we see 400? Could we see 550? Absolutely. There's that much hype around this where I would be surprised if it doesn't go anywhere but up in the short term. Now, later in the day, what happens? Later in the day, what happens? After turn 44 employees into millionaires. All right, who's going to bail out? Who's going to start bailing out of this thing? Let's say SpaceX goes from 135 to 270. What happens then? Who bails out? I mean, if I didn't have any restrictions on me, and I was making, $100,000 a year working at SpaceX, and all of a sudden I got all this stock, and I could walk away a 10 millionaire, that stuff's gone. I'm walking away at least a 5 millionaire. You know what I mean? I mean that you have to think that, okay, that's going to be some more shares potentially coming on. So what I'm trying to tell you is that this is a dynamic situation. In the valuation of SpaceX, there's going to be a lot of things at play. All right, potentially, what about the technical issues? All right, that happened to Facebook. They had a huge glitch. They could not get it public on the NASDAQ. It was supposed to go public. It was delayed. And that ended up really hurting that initial IPO price in what was considered, through the day, the first day in 2012 when it was traded, Facebook stock was a dud. And then over time, it built into what it is today. Is SpaceX going to go like that, be like Facebook? Or is it just going to explode out of the blocks, maybe something like NVIDIA? Maybe something like even Robinhood shares did pretty good. So we don't know. If you're a short-term trader, it's going to be a challenge to trade this just because getting into the market is going to be tough. But this is what everybody's asking right now. Should you buy the SpaceX IPO? SpaceX IPO demand is approaching 4 times oversubscribed. That means that everybody in the world wants it. SpaceX IPO could turn 4,400 employees into millionaires. Sounds like a pretty good problem to have, to know you're going to be a millionaire by noon tomorrow, right? That's something. What else can it impact? There's other stocks that SpaceX is going to impact. It's going to impact Tesla. That's just because of the Musk relationship. There's already been rumors potentially down the line. Could SpaceX merge with Tesla? Yeah, maybe. Where does Starlink fit into all this? A lot going on here. Share of Tesla stock, you can see monthly chart. It's been on I would definitely say that it's been on a roller coaster. There's no question about it. But when you look at the long-term trend line, is it up? It's not aggressively up, but it's pretty good. You could work a trend line beginning right there from that low. You could work a trend line right there if you wanted to, potentially, and whatever really suits your fancy. For me, I get annoyed with people that draw perfect trend lines. I really do, because the world's not perfect. A lot of what we have to do in the markets is deal in the gray areas. It's not. There's very few slam dunks, and we have to understand that, everything sort of operates in a gray area. So when I'm looking at something like this Tesla chart, there it is, boom. There's a rally. What are we doing? We're coming right down to that trend line. Where's that trend line? 369. Could tomorrow give us an opportunity to buy Tesla? Potentially. We could see Tesla sell off. There's no rules that says Tesla and SpaceX both have to go to the moon. No pun intended. Is Tesla a good company? Yeah. Has Tesla been on the forefront of really grown from just a tiny, not a tiny one, but a very, very small electric car manufacturer into dominating that space? Yeah, they have. So when we're thinking Tesla, is Tesla a buy on a big retracement tomorrow? I would be hard-pressed to say that it's not. That's a monthly trend line. That's a big deal. I mean, we're talking about connecting data sets from 2024 to 2025 to 2026. Did anybody else catch that? April 2024, April 2025, April 2026. What happened after each one of those Aprils? You got it. Could this be a great time to buy? A pullback? Potentially. That trend line right there is a big deal. So if you're watching Tesla, definitely keep an eye on that. A couple other ways that I would be breaking down this sheriff stock. I would look at the daily, and this is not the luxury. We're not going to have this luxury when it comes to SpaceX because there's going to be no data. There's going to be no historical data. Everything everybody does isn't going to be based on technicals. So let's take this down to this is a simple 5,200 crossover. Simple moving average. Where is it? If I can find it, that'd be great. If I can't, that's fine too. Let's see. I don't want an exponential. I just want a moving average. All right, we're going to have to go to simple. It's got to be under simple somewhere. Smooth moving average, simple moving average. There it is, 1, 2. This is going to be the traditional way that you'll see a lot of folks on CNBC break down shares of stock. They want a 50 SMA. As always, I always take the shorter time frame and make it red. The 50-day simple moving average and the 200-day simple moving average. What does that show us? The 50 crossed under the 200. That's a death cross. Death cross right there. Did it work? Little bit of bearish price action, then a big time rally. And now what do you have? You have the 50 sort of coming up on the 200, which would be a golden cross. So something like this, I mean, what you do is you'd love to see this Tesla essentially sell off down somewhere in the near future to our lower trend line, somewhere down around 370, maybe 375. Then we'll have an opportunity potentially to bid. And the beauty of this is if that happens, of course, the 50 is going to come down, but so is the 200. Trade sideways for a while, get that crossover, then it's all systems go. More than likely, that scenario would develop after the SpaceX IPO. That's for sure. All right, let me see. We have a question here. Let me see. Packham, it sounds like it will be a classic pump and dump of the AI century. I think a pump and dump is incredibly possible. Incredibly possible. That's for sure. Let me see. Satoshi Nakamoto. There you go. Wow. Satoshi Nakamoto in the live chat. I'm the creator of the cryptocurrency king, but still hidden and full of challenges. I know you appreciate me, and I know that soon I will secretly send you the queen of cryptocurrencies address. Yeah, whatever. Thanks for dropping by, Satoshi. Pleasure to meet you. If you want to send me some Bitcoin, you can reach out on how to trade. Let me see. Team Marina, what's going on with the Great Britain Pound USD? All right, we've got an alert. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Great Britain Pound USD to the moon, right? What's going on with the USD? USD is getting hit right now. USD giving back all of its gains. DXY. DXY is right. Yep, there it is. Okay, there's your 1 hour. Let's take this down to a 5-minute. Okay, there's your 5-minute chart. The dollar index is on the move, and it is south. Something happened. Big moves, big moves. Trump threatens to seize Karg Island. Another Iranian oil tanker CEOs. Crude oil jumps above 90. Not seeing anything. Dollar's coming off in a big, big way. Let's go Euro USD. What's developing there? There's going to be your big move. Great Britain Pound USD. How about our US 30? US 30 to the moon. US 30, 665. You can see we just missed our bid. Just missed our bid right there. That's too bad. Okay, institutional participation. If anybody's scanning the news right now, you'll probably find an item. Did Trump say something? Looks to me like somebody said something. You're getting a big rush in equities. All of a sudden, crude oil absolutely plummeting. There had to have been an announcement. There had to have been an announcement with regards to Iran. Had to have been. That's a major, major, major move for WTI crude oil at this point in the day. Let's see. Let's trade it. Let's see if we can get live and trade it. Little spike high right there. If we get a pullback late in the day to sell 88.41s. This is huge volatility right here hitting WTI crude oil. Was there an announcement? Did they announce a deal? Is there a deal? Trump warns U.S. will see keys Iranian port. U.S. launches second day of strikes against Iran. Trump says U.S. to hit Iran very hard. Iraq's prime minister prepares U.S. visit. Worry about skepticism, possibility of war ending. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing what happened. Was there a Truth Social post? Maybe something like that directly out of Trump that's bringing this action. This right here suggests that there's optimism on the war front. Huge volatility, though, hitting crude oil. You can see crude oil falls out of bed that bad. We're down 5%. We're down 4%. Brent crude down 5%. U.S. oil down 4%. And now we see the massive rally right there in the U.S. equities indices. That correlation's alive and well. What exactly is going on with the U.S. dollar? U.S. dollar tanking right now. Definitely. Let's get back to the DXY. DXY putting on a big show to the downside. I mean, losing almost 0.5% here in the last 10 minutes. Something big just happened. Something big just happened. If anybody can find it, that's what we're looking for. I mean, this is life right now, trading in the Iran field. This is life. This is the Trump administration. This is how it works. You see these big swings. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. No reason for it. No reason for it. I don't see it. I don't see the news headline. DXY tanking. Let's go ahead. Gold. How about gold? Gold's exploding. Would have loved to have got, okay, do we get a chance here to trade gold? Now, yeah, we will. This is absolutely exploding on the top side. We've got our key level right there at 41.78. Let's go ahead and trade this thing. Let's go to order. Let's go to sell limit. I want to be locked in right up there, right around 75, somewhere in that neighborhood, 75 exactly, maybe 74, 74.50. Okay, I'll take that. Sell limit order. Right in front of our moving average. This is exactly the type of scenario I want to see. I want to see a big irrational move out of seemingly nowhere. Now the markets are really hammering at the dollar. Dollar's coming off in a big, big way, and you're seeing everything besides crude oil. Crude oil is clearly the catalyst here, off about 5% now. Now we're down in the 86 range. I mean, this market is absolutely falling out of bed. We got to get back over to U.S. oil. This is a major, major move. That right there, 2%. So we're down about 3.5% in the last 10 minutes. This is astounding volatility. I mean, it really is. I mean, this is a big deal. Was there an announcement? Did somebody make a deal? Is peace being announced? What happened? Trump has canceled the planned strike. Danny boy. No kidding. Where did you see that, Danny? So he's calling off the strike. Trump threatens very hard strikes. Trump says the U.S. to hit Iran very hard. I'm seeing 21 minutes. Huh. Fascinating. I don't know, guys. This looks fishy to me. I've been doing this a long time. This really looks manipulated to me. Wow. That's big volatility, and the market just keeps coming down, down, down. Let's go ahead and see if we can get in line with a key level here. This would be a good example of my progression when we're starting to look at WTI crude oil. Do I have a key level I can play off of maybe on a weekly? Not really. I mean, it's ugly. It's ugly, ugly, ugly technicals. 83.50, maybe 83.50. Let's go back to a monthly here, U.S. oil. Let me see. Would that tank the dollar? Well, I mean, theoretically, Ralph, it's a good question. If we were announcing some sort of, not necessarily a peace deal, but maybe a cessation of operations, yeah, it would hurt the U.S. dollar, because clearly the dollar's been a safe haven throughout this war. Investors have piled into the dollar periodically as tensions sort of spike and then recede. So spike low there, spike high, right at 50%. It's hard to make this trade, though. Really is. Low, what's that low? Low right there is 54.98. Let's dial it in exactly. High right here, 119.48. Okay, so 87.25. Is it time to buy right now? I mean, do we step up to the plate and buy this? Okay, we got a hammer formation on a 1 minute. This would be a highly speculative trade. Let's go ahead, go trading. Let's go order. Okay, let's go ahead and buy. Let's go ahead and buy long. How would I get out of this trade right now if I had to? Right beneath that hammer. There's your hammer formation. Typically, that's going to signal potentially a rally. Maybe be looking for something like that. Maybe a return up above 87, maybe 87.50, maybe 87, somewhere in that zone. Is that trade viable? It's hard. It's hard because we're fighting such an amazing move, but we could get rewarded to the top side. But you can see exactly how important these long-term levels are on short time frames. There's no question that the whole world's dug in at 87.25. We need to see 87.25 right now trade. We need to break above that zone, and then I have no doubt that we win. But the problem is right now, pressure's going against us. What would have been our signal? That would have been our hammer. We should have been smarter and bought in above that hammer formation. Then we would have had a great chance. Market's running against us. I don't hate it. If we take a loss here, we take a loss. It was worth taking a shot from that zone. But I have to tell you, fighting that kind of intraday pressure, you're asking for trouble. You're absolutely asking for trouble. If it reverses and goes in our favor, let's at least get paid for our trouble. Put it up there somewhere around 74. This market is coming off. Rip the Band-Aid off, take the loss. Highly speculative. Made two mistakes right there. Number one, I just wanted to get dirty and get in the trade. That hammer formation on a 1-minute chart, when you coincide with a key level, should have bought in right above it. Should have been looking to buy 26s, 27s, play that breakout above support, because right now, even if the market rotates back up above our level, which it may do, I can't tell. I can't prove that's going to happen. We could get in big, big trouble here because there really is no rules on how low this thing can go. Realistically, we shouldn't be buying probably until that 83 zone that we talked about a little bit ago. But this right here, buying right in there, that would have been worth the shot. But sometimes you just got to take a risk, right? Not really too big of a deal. We got hit right here. We cut this thing off early. Market's sort of rotating back in our favor now. Not even close. Something really fundamentally serious has to change for us to have won this trade. It's not happening now. This market's creeping down, 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 and the biggest thing we can do is get out of the way. Let's go up to our gold trade. Do we have an opportunity potentially here? Now, this kind of makes me happy. We're up there at 41.74. We've got a very good chance to hit this one. The big challenge for us is just going to be getting into the market. Does the market trade higher up there to 41.74? Is it possible? Yeah, maybe, maybe not. I mean, we might be here for a while waiting for that election, but you can see the big move really developed right around 11:30 my time, 1:30 Eastern, and now the market's really flattened out, Let me see, pack up. I missed the Lambo candles. Yeah, those are. You hit it. You get on the right side of a few of those trades, and life's pretty good. Let's go back, check a couple other things. Our oil, of course, is bouncing back up. It's just chaotic the way that these markets will react, though, to these news items. Trading them's tough. Okay, so here's your Euro CAD trade that we were talking about a little bit earlier. Did we already get wiped out, or what is this thing doing? 4-hour chart. Okay, here's your trade idea from earlier today. Starting to look a little bit better, right? Starting to look a little bit better, 160, 158. What does any of this mean? Well, that news played into the favor of that trade idea. If you guys remembered that one from earlier in the thread, this is the one that we put out earlier today. This Euro CAD played 920 EMA crossover. Well, what just happened to the CAD? Canadian dollar? Well, crude oil decided that it was going to dive by 5.75%, and it's all over but the crying at this point. Now the euro rate hike earlier today. Now the oil market falls out of bed. Unbelievable. All right, let me see right here. I'm getting the headline from Ralph H. of the How to Trade community. Thank you, Ralph. Trump says a deal has been approved. Is the war over? Give me a break. Give me a break. Trump cancels strikes. Trump cancels Iran strikes scheduled for Thursday evening. This is breaking news. So we go from threatening Karg Island to the war being over. Crude oil prices fall 3% after calls off strikes. Let me see. Trump threatened to Karg Island, hit Iran very hard. U.S. will seize total control. Okay, called off the strikes for tonight. Let's go to CNN. Trump warns U.S. will seize key Iranian port. We're still reporting the Karg Island stuff. These are mainstream news outlets. You can't trade the news off of here, but it can tell us what exactly is hitting the wires. Parts of the Pentagon locked down as hazmat situations unfold. This is all a joke, guys. This is a crazy news cycle. The bottom line is this. Oil's crashing. Where are we at right now? Sort of still trading down there. That's tough. And so is the U.S. dollar. Give me a DXY chart right here. That's a crash. For the dollar to move that much, holy cow. Holy cow, that is a major, major, major crash. Well, if we see the news item, it will definitely pop up. If the war is over, this is probably what would happen. You'd see the dollar go way down. You'd see WTI crude go down as well. Something I have to check, guys. I have to go ahead and look at it. We're still printing July WTI crude oil. This is what everybody's going to be looking at, those volumes. 1128. I'm curious. I'm really curious of who said what when. You'll notice that you didn't get that big spike of volume before whatever announcement was made right there about 10 minutes ago. Wow, this is life. This is life in the current marketplace. Life in the current marketplace. Let's get back on over to gold. You see gold right here. Okay, this is interesting. This interests me. If we get a shot to sell 74s right now, I like it. I like it a lot. The crude oil trade, that was tough. We needed that hammer to set up above the key level. But this right here, something like this could be very good. This could be very good. Let's wait and see if we get filled here in just a second. Really, and according to Hoyle uptrend, you can see it's a 1-minute chart, so I don't really define these as being necessarily trends. But if you're looking, there's your base. So we were talking. There's your base. There's your break. There's your 1. There's your 2. There's your 3. Is this a 4, and are we looking at a 5? Elliott wave count. Maybe, maybe not. We just got to wait and see how this develops. Okay, we're going to get nasty right here. We're going to get dirty. Not looking for a tremendous amount, maybe $5. Not going to let this thing bleed against us very long either. We're looking for an immediate positive price action, which means we need to hit, get filled, and come off. I love 74. We're going to have some patience because our line in the sand really is up there right around 78, 79. But this thing needs to hit and rotate right back down into this value area. I would be looking to put my take profit somewhere probably right down there, right around 68, something like that. That's a pretty good trade. It's not bad. Now, you'll notice these are demo dollars, so, whatever you do with your risk management between 1% and 3% on a given trade. If you want to be an aggressive trader, 5%. Okay. If you want to go 7%, I don't know. You're getting into the deep end of the pool. So make sure that you have enough money to take these trades properly and let them play out. This right here, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff because now we're starting to load up right around 64. I still love the 65 entry. I think we could be in great shape there. We just got to get filled. And a lot of times that's the problem is you don't get filled. Let's back off to our monthly and see exactly where our level is. It may have moved. That was a tremendous move. What is our moving average now? 78.29. So we're in pretty good shape here. This is not a bad idea if we get an opportunity to sell this gold. Unfortunately, it looks like they already stepped up and sold it. What was our high? 70s. So a lot of sellers from 70. We'll just have to wait and see how this pans out. All right, so a couple other things about the SpaceX IPO. A lot of people are going to be millionaires that weren't. This is interesting. The closing share price is something that I think that we could probably look at here because it gives us a good idea on these poly market odds, what exactly potentially we could be looking at as far as the market goes tomorrow. And I'll cover this more tomorrow, but you can see our closing share price. This is fascinating. There's all these different options, and they all have different odds, different price shares over at Polymarket. Well, we're betting right now the odds-on favorite has it between $150 and $200 a share, but that's only about 60%. There's some folks that believe it's going to double in price, maybe $250, maybe $250 plus. What can you really say about this type of price action? It's going to be hot and it's going to be heavy. That's all there is to it. I mean, these types of predictions. Very few people are predicting this thing to go down. We're betting on a 135 open. We don't know that if we get it. We don't know if we get it with SpaceX. We just don't really know. 60% say 150 to 200. That's fascinating to me. I think that we'll have a pretty good option, pretty good idea of what the market's going to do. More than likely, half hour after the open. So if we were looking at the market at one period of time, tomorrow to really tell us what exactly is going to happen, you're going to be looking at probably that 10 a.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock my time, 10 a.m. Eastern, about a half hour after the opening bell. That's when the big dogs and the retail is really going to kick off on SpaceX. That's pretty much when I would be looking to try to gauge price action for this IPO for the rest of the day. So this will be interesting. This is going to be fascinating stuff. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. We may actually stream multiple times tomorrow to cover the SpaceX, but you can see right there the market says, and the odds are 60%. We're going to trade somewhere in that 150 to 200 area. This trade right here, this gold trade's promising. I just don't know that we're going to get it. You can see, okay, WTI crude's broken, back up above 87. So there you go. We got shaken out of that one. That's okay though. That happens. Still looking at the news. Still looking at the news scan. Don't see anything from Trump. Crazy, absolutely crazy stuff. All right, that's a decent look at SpaceX. We're going to talk a lot more about SpaceX tomorrow, so be sure to join me during that U.S. pre-market. I still would love to get this gold trade sort of under our belt, but I don't know that we're going to get it here anytime soon. So we'll sort of keep that on the front burner or the back burner, whatever. News of the day, really not much time here to sit around and cover PPI. PPI, bottom line is that it went up. That shouldn't surprise anybody for May. Fuel prices are way ahead of schedule. And then you can also see core PPI. Core PPI came down a little bit. That's because you stripped out the food and the energy. I wouldn't worry too much about these numbers. Right now it's all about Iran. It really does look like it's all about Iran. Continuing jobless claims, that's a bad one. We're sort of trending higher on those weekly continuing jobless claims, initial jobless claims, also trending higher. That's not good for the U.S. labor market, even though we had a real strong NFP last Friday. Still not very good. And then the rest of this stuff, I wouldn't even really worry about it. I really wouldn't. Year over year PPI for May, 6.5%, up from a downwardly revised 5.7%. And what is that? Probably double where we were last year, somewhere in that. Well, that's pretty much what we're looking at right now. All right, WTI crude, sometimes this happens, essentially. Big move. Now you're starting to see the move really bounce back up above our key level. We were looking for, I think, 87.50s as a payoff. That's okay, though. What can we do potentially? Do we want to join the trend here? Maybe selling 88s wouldn't be a bad way to do business. If we get that in the next few minutes, might not be bad. Huge market move, though. Absolutely staggering move. I'm glad we got to cover it live. And just thanks for saying something, T. I would have missed it completely. We were talking about SpaceX and different stocks. Yeah, there you go. All right, so we gave you the breakdown on Tesla. That's going to be one that we're watching tomorrow as well. This is SATS. I believe this is EchoStar satellite. You can see this is a big day today. This is sort of related to SpaceX. I mean, if SpaceX becomes a conduit to get satellites into space almost exclusively, crazy. Could be really a huge sectoral boost for the entire, not just the NASDAQ, but a lot of different sectors and a lot of different markets globally. It just depends on what SpaceX decides they're going to do. Are they going to expand right away? Are they going to merge with Tesla? Are they going to build data centers in space? If they do, they will be the player. We'll talk all about this tomorrow. And then this is the last one, RKLB. I don't remember the exact name of the share, but you can see not having as good of a month. This would be, this is a rocket ship. What is this one? There's so many of these. Rocket Lab Corporation. This is sort of a competitor to SpaceX. You can see taking it on the chin off about 21%. This was a big one, though. Big time rally in May and then a pullback in June. People are taking profits and they're getting ready to pile into the other hot stock that's going to be running spaceships. If you'd have told me when I was a little kid that you'd be trading stocks based on spaceships, I would laugh. I would have said, come on. That's way down the line. 62% though, 103.58 might be an area where if SpaceX gets a real strong open, we have a chance to buy something like Rocket Labs at a discount. So remember, it's not just about SpaceX tomorrow. It's going to be about the entire sector, and we're going to have more stocks for you to look at as well. A lot of these CFDs are available on MT5, so we'll probably be trading those on MT5 as well. So a lot going on, guys. Absolute lot going on. Can't quite find anything on the war being over. This just feels like market manipulation to me. We've seen this so many times. Trump says the U.S. will hit Iran very hard, still saying that. Says he has canceled strikes against Iran after threatening very hard. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely just a crazy news cycle. BBC, Trump has said he's canceled strikes against Iran after threatening very hard attack tonight. We were living in the movies, Back to the Future. I mean, what else could it be, right? This has got to be simulation theory. So we'll be watching these stocks very closely. Crude oil stagnating right around 87. Euro CAD, all of a sudden that's in a better position. And our gold trade, come on, let's give us this gold trade before we sign off here. Looking for 74s. We'll give this a little bit of a chance to bleed against us, but not much. We should hit this one absolutely perfect. Look how big the 1 minute bars are, by the way, in gold. These are smaller than these, right? Take a look at these ranges. I've got a 13-period ADR setup, which was an average daily range. It should be called an average periodic range, but something like this. What's our ADR? Our ADR right there is 8. That's an $8 range for gold, spot gold in 1 minute, $8. And these are a heck of a lot smaller than these. This ADR peaked, at about 11.40. We were looking at $12.69 for a 1 minute bar of gold. That's absolutely astounding. That's astounding. Huge volatility, staggering. I'd love for my key level to come into play, though. That'd be fantastic. Unfortunately, It ain't going to happen. I wanted to get over and trade some 9 EMA today, but it doesn't look like we're going to have a chance. You can see right there, essentially what you're looking at on this 5-minute. These are 5-minute charts. Is you'll probably be looking at late day or maybe Japanese session pullbacks on WTI crude oil and Brent. You can see it's setting up beautifully, oversold territory. A bullish cross of the 9 EMA will be a bid there and a bid there. How about that signal, huh? It was sort of not necessarily the founder of the feast, but definitely was there before the feast. That sell set up absolutely beautifully from 92.22 in this WTI CFD all the way down to 87. I mean, those are Lambo candles. That's a fact. Those are Lambo candles. All right, everybody, what did we learn? We learned that the news is very real, and trying to predict anything out of the White House is a fool's errand. You don't know what they're going to say from minute to minute, and that's what makes trading right there extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. Watch your risk. Don't get overextended. That is a prima facie example of why you cannot fight trends. Just cut it off. Just cut your trades off. You can't let them bleed against you, because if Trump might come out in the next hour and say, no, the bombing raids are back on. They're on again. They're off again. They're on again. They're off again. And I mean, to say that we're not just playing yo-yo with the markets right now is maybe a little short-sighted. I'm very, very, I won't say disappointed in the lack of sort of restraint by making these statements, but it looks, if it's a strategy, it may work, but it looks unhinged, and it looks like there's no real way forward. And when there's no way forward, any of these announcements drive the market, north by 500 points in the Dow, and WTI crude legitimately crashes 5%. How do we know these statements weren't made just to crash the oil market, to try to maybe in response to this last week's inflation figures? I don't know, man. I really don't know what to make of any of it. We got to fall back on our technicals and be smart. That's what I would say. All right, guys, I've gone on long enough. We've gone about an hour today. Be back bright and early with the SpaceX IPO. We're going to break it all down for you. I'll have the latest news on it. We'll also have the latest news out of Iran. May turn out to be a very long stream, maybe a very short stream. We may do multiple streams tomorrow. So if you miss any of the coverage, just be sure to check whatever YouTube channel you're watching on. I prefer you guys watch it on the Switch Markets YouTube channel. Go over there and subscribe and watch. That's a good place to find all the new content, mostly shorts, but we also put new videos out there as well. That's a good place to find all the new content. And then head on over to howtotrade.com. You can sign up for your free account. Send me a private message if you have anything to say, if you like the streams, if you don't like the streams, any suggestions or any input at all, or if you just have a question or critiques, feel free to reach out. I'm pretty much available, and I answer everybody's inquiry. I'm sure to answer. All right, guys, that was a mouthful. That was a wrap. Unfortunately, our gold trade's down to about 41.50 now. Crude oil back up to about 87.35. Sort of figured that one was going to rotate higher, but we just jumped the gun a little bit there. 41.49 right now in gold. Dow Jones is off of its highs now, about 750. Nasty session. Those were some face rippers. I mean, take a look at the dollar yen up above 160 now. Man, we're gonna have a lot to talk about tomorrow, a lot to trade tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. It's been on long enough for today. You guys have a fantastic trading session. Remember, tomorrow's IPO day. It's going to be a big day. A lot of millionaires are going to be made. We'll see. We'll see how they do. That's for sure. All right, everybody, have a fantastic trading session. As always, trade the action well, and we'll talk soon. See you. Traders all over the world are already using Switch Markets. Thousands of traders just like you across multiple markets each and every day. If you haven't joined yet, you can open an account and begin trading in just a few minutes. Click the link in the description.
What am I doing? I told myself this year was going to be different. So many things I want to achieve, yet I'm here wasting my time doom scrolling. I was going to start running again. I was going to make more of an effort with my friends. I was going to work on my confidence. I was going to get fit again. I was going to start trading. Time to wake up and stop making excuses. Okay, Switch Markets. Let's do this. When you're ready to trade, Switch Markets is waiting for you.